What do you need to live a comfortable life? Some will say good relationships, others will say health, and others will say that it's meaningful work. Now, all of these things are important and you should have all of them, but there's no denying that one factor that really determines how good of a quality life you will have is your income. And in the grand scheme of things, what we truly want is passive income. The problem is that most Filipinos don't understand how passive income works and how we can really earn passive income. And so we go for shortcuts, we fall for these scams, and we go for whatever promises 20% increase in a single week. And because of that, we wonder why passive income seems to elude us. In this video, I'm going to break down what passive income truly looks like and how we as Filipinos can have passive income so that we can live a quality life. Over the years, my wife and I have built a pretty good business for ourselves, and it's helped us earn really good money. But there was one glaring problem. All that money that we were earning was tied to our labor. Meaning, if we stopped working, we would stop earning. And so if we got sick, if we wanted to go on long vacations, or if we wanted to pursue other ventures, that income would stop. And that's when Cez and I started looking into what it takes to really build passive income. One concept that really jumped out for us that we didn't really understand in the beginning was financial independence. Financial independence is the point where your life is now paid by your passive income. Your pensions, your investments, your rental income, your dividends, all pay for your needs. You can still work, by the way. I mean, we think that retirement is we stop work. One misconception that I had before is because I'm very passionate about what I do for a living, that retirement was stopping that. And that's what really, held me back from preparing for retirement. I had a mentor who sat down with me and said, you know what? When you retire, it doesn't mean that you stop working. It just means that even if you did, for any reason whatsoever, or if you wanted to change or shift as needed, you wouldn't have second thoughts or you wouldn't have to second guess yourself because you have passive income to cover your expenses while you pursued something, even if money was not the goal. Studies show that 49% of millennials want financial independence, and it's even higher for the next generation. For Gen Zers, they actually say that 56% of Gen Z say that financial independence is important if you want to live a quality life. But most retirees in the Philippines still depend on SSS, they depend on part-time jobs, or sadly, sometimes even depend on their children and relatives to cover their needs. So instead of feeling that sense of freedom and that opportunity to live a quality life, we feel trapped. And we feel that we're held back by our own financial needs, even at a point where income might not be as good anymore. Truth of the matter is that, studies will show that income will peak somewhere between 40 to 50 years old. And after that point, your income starts to drop. And that's the reason why financial independence and preparing for retirement is really important. Because let's face the facts that we're not going to be able to work our entire life. Now, what's the one reason why Filipinos don't retire comfortably? It's not because we don't work hard, because we do. And it's not because we don't care for our family. I don't think I've ever met anyone who said that I really want to be a burden to my children. I don't think that's the case. And it's not because we're not generous. Where we really fail to understand financial independence is the strategy that helps us get there. For you to have financial independence, you really need to build ownership. And what that means is you need to own assets that generate revenue for you. All of this will help you build something called work optionality. We want to have options. And what that means is we have the autonomy to decide when we want to work, what we want to work on, and how we want to do it. Now, let me share you one example, which is my personal example. So I love spending time with my family. And so while I'm coaching and consulting, that's probably going to generate income for me. But if I'm helping someone to navigate life, or if I'm spending time with my children or spending time with my wife, I'm probably not going to make money. In fact, I'm probably going to spend money. But when I get to a point of financial independence, I'm going to be able to do more of that, to spend more time on volunteer work, on helping people even if there's nothing that I get in return. And that's the beauty of passive income. So how do you build passive income? There are a lot of steps, and this could become an entire series that I might create or I might not. But if I had to start somewhere, I would start with these 3 quick steps. Number 1, is to start small and start early. One thing that a lot of people think about when it comes to passive income is that you need a lot of money to generate passive income. And the truth of the matter is, you do.
Why are you the way that you are?
You're gonna need a lot of money. If you want to buy a property, then you're gonna need a lot of money to buy a property. If you want to put investments into bonds or stocks or index funds, then you're gonna need a lot of money to generate enough dividends to cover your daily expenses. But one misconception about money is we think that it only becomes big if we have a lot of money right away. But a lot of the times when you're trying to build wealth, you actually build wealth by starting small and doing it for a very long time. There's this concept called peso cost averaging, or if you're in the States, it's called dollar cost averaging, where what it looks like is you're putting aside money on a regular basis, ideally monthly, and then putting that into funds that will generate a return for you. For instance, if you were to put 5,000 pesos a month into a fund, let's say for instance you put it into index funds or into Pag-ibig MP2, and it helps you earn about 6 to 7% annually. If you did that for a long time, for let's say for example for 35 years, so you start at the age of 30 and you finish up at the age of 65, right about the time that most people will retire, you could end up with 7 million pesos at the end of that period. And with that 7 million pesos, if it helped you earn around, let's say conservatively 4%, and you withdrew that 4%, then you would have about 280,000 a year in passive income. That's around 23,000 pesos a month. It's a good starting point. So if you put that alongside a pension that will help you to earn another 20,000 a month, then it becomes a comfortable income already. So the key there really is to start small, but start as early as possible. You want to leverage time so that you can continue to build and compound your wealth as you reach that point where you want to retire. The second key is to use active income to build passive income. Now, there's no magic shortcut. Truth of the matter is, if you want to create passive income, you're going to need active income. So that could be in the form of salary or business income. And when you earn that income, what you're doing is you're setting aside a certain amount of money to prepare for the future. A lot, if not many, of the passive income strategies that truly work for millions of people worldwide are strategies that depend on active income, meaning you're using your active income and then building a fund, an asset that will help you earn more. So if you see something that will probably say, put in 5,000 pesos and then you're going to earn 50,000 pesos every single month, it's probably not true.
That's a bunch of malarkey!
Another thing to look out for is if someone promises passive income without any real asset. So if there's no product, if there's no business model that really makes sense, aside from inviting other people to invest, then that's probably not the best strategy for you. The third quick step, and it might sound pretty simple, but it's actually quite hard, is to build patience. Financial independence, like anything that is worthwhile, will take time. Some of us, it could be 30 years, could be 40 years. And because of that, the first few years will feel slow. You might look at your investment portfolio and say, I don't really see a lot of growth. But that's the thing about building passive income. It depends on something called compounding. What compounding looks like is as time goes by, the growth at which your investment grows will also grow. So it accelerates in an exponential way. Compounding only happens when we have patience. It takes time for you to build assets that will truly give you financial freedom and financial independence. One food for thought to kind of wrap this up. I remember one of my mentors telling me that if you really want to build wealth that will give you independence, what you need to do is move from thinking day to day to decade. A lot of us, we think day to day. We think about tomorrow, and we have this YOLO mindset, you only live once. And so we get money and then we spend it like in a day or two. And so at the end of the month, we're kind of like out of income already. But when we think decade to decade, we're thinking about how can this money make an impact in my life, not just today, but in the decades to come. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please let me know in the comment sections. Drop in any ideas or any content that you want me to kind of like break down a bit more. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just doing this simply because I want to share the journey that we've been on as a family to experience financial independence, hoping that more and more Filipinos will experience the same. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, you know where the subscribe button is. It doesn't matter if this could help like 5 people or probably even less. Completely happy with that. So thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.